would you explain the programme to someone?
We are growing incredibly fast as a business, so we need future leaders in the finance organisation, and we need those people to come into the organisation and become leaders as quickly as possible. So it's a pretty intensive 3 years. You'll be in 3 different locations, more than likely. Most likely won't be your home location. It'll probably be somewhere international within the Europe, Middle East and Africa region. You spend 2 years very intense on-the-job learning, plus we put you through the EMEA professional qualification training as well across the whole of the 3 years. You do project-based activities, you do a lot of on-the-job learning as well, and a lot of sort of central learning as well. So pretty comprehensive from a learning and development point of view. And the aim being that within 4 to 5 years of starting, you will start in a sort of reasonably senior finance management position within the business.
How is the programme structured?
So it's a very structured programme. So what we want our candidates to do is to be able to know every aspect of finance, from the point a customer makes a reservation to the point that they pay, and from the point that we order something from a supplier to the point we pay them. So those are all financial transactions, and our modules take them in detail through all of those processes. So that happens over the first 2 years, and the candidates doing that by observation and sitting with the people who are doing those jobs. It's also really important that they immerse themselves in the business, so they're also working with lots of other team members across the hotel.
What happens after the programme?
Typically when people go into their sort of year 3 full-time role, we would be looking at people who would sort of be a deputy to a hotel director of finance, for example. If you go into the hotel world, that would be a sort of number 2 in a hotel, would be a good place to be. You have some good management responsibilities, but you have someone sitting over you who can sort of help to guide you a bit more as well in what you're doing. So that seems to work pretty well. But of course, we also have the whole corporate side of the business as well. So we've also had people, as well as going into the hotel piece, can also go into the corporate world. We have a whole huge central finance team. So lots of different roles that they could potentially go into in the corporate world as well. But more typically, because obviously it's because of the volume of hotels we have, more typically it would be in that sort of hotel environment as a sort of number 2 finance manager in a hotel such as this, for example.
How far can someone go?
There's no limit really. And from what we've seen so far, we've had people do all sorts of things. We've had people move into corporate roles, but within operations finance, which is the type of finance that looks after hotels, but also other types of finance as well, corporate accounting and feasibility. But at the same time, we've had people move into hotel roles, and again, different types of hotel roles. Actually, we've also had people move out of finance, but remaining within the organisation. So, we're still early days in the programme, so we haven't had any CFOs yet, but I think the sky's the limit, really, for the people who are on this programme.
What would you say to someone who's considering the programme?
You've got to love the hospitality industry. I think it makes a massive difference. We're finance people, we're accountants, but we are in this business for a reason. We all love the business because of the people aspect and the hospitality aspect of it, and that's really important as well. Obviously, you don't know that as a graduate because you've never worked before probably in a sort of graduate role. So, but to sort of develop that passion, I think is really, really important.
And finally, how does Hilton support graduates?
Yeah, as I said, we do throw a lot at our FINESSE team, but there is an incredibly strong support network put in place for them. So to start with, we line them up with a buddy, which will be someone who did the FINESSE programme in the last couple of years, so they can help guide them through those really early stages. They then have a senior level mentor from my sort of senior team, who they would keep the whole way through the 3 years of the programme, and they have a very close connection with their mentors, speaking on a regular basis. Meeting hopefully on a regular basis, depending on where they're located. So that for me is a really strong part of the programme. And then obviously they have their line manager in their location, their placement hotel where they're actually sitting. And again, they'll have a very good sort of support level from that individual as well. So it's a pretty thorough, at every sort of level through the 3 years, it's a pretty thorough level of support for the individuals as they work their way through.